Hello everyone, welcome to some Caves of Cud. For those of you who don't know or are new to the game, it is an awesome, very deep roguelike made by Freehold Games. Let's get Mousy out of here. I've been playing this game nonstop for the last couple days. Because of how much concentration I need to play it, I've been playing it in like total silence without my usual background fluff, and I went, if I'm playing this without outside input anyway, I might as well stream cord it. So here we are. Been talking with some other CUD players, particularly from Grimace followers, who for about a potential build, and we're gonna go give it a few runs. So we'll be creating a new character that is a mutated human. We are going to... I'm gonna put everything up to 16 just so I know what I'm looking at. Because this build it does use a little bit of everything, and that leaves us 8 points. So that's enough to get that's enough to get 4 stats up to +1. Oh, wait. Oh yeah, it's a 2-point stockman. And I'm trying to decide if I want to tank these enough to get something up to get ego to +2. I'm doing math in my head regarding this. I don't want to tank my strength that much. Strength and toughness will be the dump stats for this. I don't like going with negative intelligence. I will be using mental mutations and powers a lot, so we will want some willpower, and the health regen is nice. This will be an ego-based build, so that's our core skill, and agility is going to be our main combat, defense, and offense for when we don't have the ego backing us. For those of you new to CUD, strength affects your ability to... It indirectly affects how much damage you deal and how much you can carry and how much force you have behind attacks. It's where your ability to move things and not be moved comes into play. Agility is dodging and not getting hit. Is don't get hit and your ability to hit things. Toughness affects your hit point regeneration and ability to not get diseased, which diseases in this game are terrible, and it's fantastic. It's not like a minor inconvenience from a Bethesda game where it's like, oh no, I'm diseased. Woe is me. Whatever, I'll just drink a potion. Well, no, disease sucks. Intelligence determines the number of skill points you get and your ability to examine artifacts. Artifacts are powerful things of the past, and we'll be wanting a couple skills, definitely. At least enough that I'm not comfortable going with baseline, and having the extra identify is really nice because we are going to probably have a lot of artifacts going into this. It'll be kind of a secondary theme. There's only one real theme, and everything else we want to make sure we leave open. Willpower affects the cooldowns of your activated abilities, which we're going to have a lot, and it also modifies your hit point regeneration. So I want to make sure I have some willpower because this character otherwise is going to want on the HP department with so little toughness. And not having to take 9 years to regenerate will be very important for maintaining combat momentum. And ego will be the core of this build. It's the equivalent of charisma from other games. Ability to haggle, interact, trade, increases the potency of mental mutations, which are kind of the closest you get to magic. Your mileage with that will vary. Let's go ahead and choose our mutations. We're going to skip physical for a moment and go to the core of what this build is going to be themed around, which is Beguile. You beguile a nearby creature into serving you loyally. You make a mental attack versus any creature that has a mind, essentially meaning you can't beguile a robot. Creatures you beguile have 5 bonus hit points, and you can beguile anything that is level 5 or lower, which is most things in the game. Or most things early on, as we'll be able to level up beguiling, which will give things more hit points and increase the level range, as well as just generally improves its accuracy. The other key skill to this build is Domination. You garrote an adjacent creature's mind and control its action while your own body lies dormant. It has a little bit longer of a cooldown. It's also a mental attack with a creature with a mind, so You can't mind take a robot again. That is actually the other something. I think that is a implant that the pure humans can take, but as a mutant, we get to play with other fleshy things. So, ooh, nope, that is not the buy button, that is the move on button. There we go. So those are going to be our mental mutations. For physical mutations, I've had a lot of difficulty with this. Carapace could be fun. That at the end of the game, Carapace is the potentially some of the best armor. But by necessity, coming here through those horns would be kind of nice, and the extra reputation could be fun. But we're gonna pick up multiple legs for the extra carry capacity primarily, and the move speed is nice. And I also want confuse. Oh, it won't let me select it right now, but I want confusing Venom Stinger. Multiple legs also does actually literally give your character an extra set of legs, which means you get an extra set of equipment for leg slots, though your armor and dodge values will be balanced between those. Because we want more things, we're also going to take a physical defect. Now, taking the mental defect Evil Twin, which is by far, I think, the most interesting defect, acting in some inscrutable parallel version of yourself travels through space and time to destroy you. It makes a dupe of you that doesn't drop anything, they just try to kill you. They use exactly your stats. And this is a game where the player stats are very balanced to being able to fight the player. But we'll be taking a physical mutation because we want one of the -4s. The only -4 in mental is narcolepsy. Let's not. And between these, we have hooks for feet. We could reduce our move speed by 10, and we can't wear shoes, which would negate a big part of the boon that is multiple legged, and that could be interesting. But no. Actually, I might have to think about that. Because what I was thinking was brittle bones, which is you suffer additional damage from falling, cudgels, and other sources of concussive damage. As I said earlier, bees. We'll be doing some. The kind of the way I'm viewing this is we have a over-glorified queen bee, who may be lacking a hive, will be hijacking her own drones with her confusing stinger and then her mental capabilities. And she's going to leave most of the fighting to her minions that we take. Now, bees are going to have a hard exoskeleton, but we're a queen, so we won't be as durable as a fighter class, as a warrior caste of birth, so that'll actually just make us more brittle as opposed to durable, though it'll still help protect us from every other form of damage in the game besides things that are bludgeoning and breaky. Because we're taking that stinger with that 3 point, we have an extra point left over, which I will be putting into night vision. It gives you a very small range of being able to see in the dark. Every NPC in the game has this, so it effectively just means you will never be at a sight disadvantage from your own abilities, or lack thereof. It'll negate torches, but we're still going to want light sources because night vision isn't very far. And night vision, if my minions are outside my range, I like being able to distract them, so we're going to be lighting them up. This will give us we then are going to choose our calling, which will be our kind of like, it defines our base class loosely, gives you an additional starting stat boost. Now, I'm very tempted to take Apostle because Proselytize is another minion I can take. It's like Domination but in skill form. Not quite as good, it's limited by my level instead of the abilities level. And, but I can use it on anything, where trying to mind jack somebody will piss them off if it doesn't work. if you attempt to recruit someone through proselytize, they're just like, nah, thanks, bro. So I can use this to recruit townspeople safely, and things that are no longer proselytized because you decide to proselytize someone else. You're like, you know, I want this guy to be my minion. You can go away. They won't automatically hate you. They will by default still like you, just they won't follow you around anymore. For the purposes of this run, though, I'm actually going to go with the Water Merchant. It gives me another 2 ego, which is very nice. Helps keep me ahead of, puts that nice and ahead without me having to spend too much, and gives me Snake Oiler, which makes and a giant pile. It has me start with a giant pile of trade goods. Snake Oiler isn't the best skill, nor is it the most expensive, but it's kind of out of the way, and it just makes money easier to work with. And we're going to be pretty much buying our way through early game indirectly. So we're going to go with Water Merchant, which will be our build. Character book called is our build. You can see those mutations there on the right. We've got a decent number of them. Go ahead, though, and just choose our starting location, which will be Joppa. You can choose random villages if you're feeling either more advanced or you don't want the sort of cut and paste default start. But I like the narrative around Joppa. Gives you some semi-familiar locations to get your foot on the ground with. Definitely familiar characters. And really helps with getting through the early game. But you don't get any free reputation, which kind of sucks, nor the free neat equipment, of which I'd say Hills or Saltmarsh, or Hills, Saltmarsh, and Salt Dunes. All three of these items definitely have value to start with early. Reptiles is a great faction to be friends with. Insects and fish can be really good. Hermits, but butchering's a nice skill. Fasting Way is a very deep skill. So starting with that, if you can get the approval, is great. But have fun with that. But we're sticking with Joppa. What is her name? We'll be Trill. Because that's the name of my bee. My bee is Trill. Game is gonna build its world, add its layers. Look on my riches, ye wealthy in despair, but do not touch Hedgelroot. And we embark for the Caves of Cud. On the 29th of Ir-Ut, you arrive at the oasis hamlet of Joppa, along the far rim of Magrayi, the Great Salt Desert. All around you, moisture farmers tend to groves of Viridian water vine. Their huts wrought from rock salt and brine stock. On the horizons, Cud's jungles strangle chrome steeples and rusted archways to the earth. Further and beyond, the fabled spindle rises above the prey and pierces the cloud-driven sky. Press any key, then F1 for help. This gives you some basic rundowns. Let's see if this game goes over one thing. Oh, it explains armor right here. Armor and penetration. Attack with your secondary hand. So the base... Oh. Just current weapon's accuracy. Ways of melee. With more than one. And tactical wild. Okay, I'm still... Dodge value works how I thought. Your weapon likely penetrates several times. Oh, it doesn't go over the exact value, the rolls that are being made there. That was what I was hoping for. But 10 things you should do when you start to play. Switch to the alternative key set. I have a numpad. Hotkey active, so I have done that proactively. Look through the menus. L, space, Alt, sidebars, Walking up and down stairs, rest, escape K. Weapon, stats. Okay, all that's gonna be pretty baseline stuff I'll go over time here. But this is a classic roguelike. Numpad to move in the various directions. We're gonna just talk to this guy because he's gonna run off and get himself killed, and he has a quest for us. Wander, orphan of the salt, hear me. To the north and the west, through the great salt desert, the 6-day silt splits the earth in two. Seek the grandeur of Shekinah, first among fathers. Release yourself from the burden that Chrome bears on your sickly flesh. Go now. What waits for me there? Deliverance waits for all pilgrims. At the site you'll find the cathedral, magnificent in its splendor. There are statues erected in the honor of Argent Fathers. There are sublime reliefs depicting our most cherished occasions. Hear, too, the wisdom of Eshelstadt II, our highest priest, and make a donation at the sacred well. Worship at the light sculpture of Shekinah himself. You'll find other pilgrims among merchant tents at the Stilt Grounds Bazaar, other converts and priests. You will be among friends. Very well. I will make the journey and see the 6-date stilt for myself. Here's your new quest. Oh, glorious Shekinah! The 6-date stilt is a pretty cool location. We will be going there because that whole proselytize thing, we want it, and it's there for very cheap. This is Mehmet. Years of desert have taken their toll on his body, but he commands your ear with his voice like few other men, and you wonder what sovereignty he might come to wear were he not born a moisture farmer. This man demands respect, and he will get it. He is impossible for me to fight, of neutral disposition and in perfect health. He's loved by the villagers of Joppa, because he's a villager of Joppa. But he's disliked the villagers of Sud for torching one of their villages. Aww. He's hated by winged mammals for impersonating one of their... Mehmet, how did you impersonate a winged mammal? And he's disliked for apes for stealing a cherished heirloom. Okay, that makes sense. Hi, Mehmet. Live and drink friend. May you find shade in Joppa. Oh, what do you tell me about it? It'd be nice to speak with Elder Eredad. Look for his hut to the north. Well, I'm in search of work. Some critters are eating our water vine. Faruk claims he saw one slinking around a vine patch. Ugly little thing, he says. Pale white, 8 legs, and an ear-splitting whine. I noticed a bit of red dirt in the water vine pool, the same we found in the soil at a nearby cave to the north we call Red Rock. Travel to Red Rock and kill as many of these creatures as you can. Bring back the corpse of one, too. Or the Elder will reward you for your efforts. Okay, I will do as you ask. New quest, what's eating the water vine? We're gonna come up here and say hello to Warden Ulrag. Big Ulrag shifts his weight between his hind and forelegs. He shakes Stander off the chipped surface of the great curling horns that splay from his temples. One hand holds a purring blade. The other is lame and frostbitten. The other, lame and frostbitten, reminds us that while Mother Nature may bestow splendid gifts upon his children, he is still sister to cruelty. He is loved by the Fellowship of Wardens and admired by the villagers of Joppa for defending their village, though he's disliked by the Farmers Guild for torching one of their villages. He has on some chainmail, he has horns, he has a lacquered, strange, weird artifact, which would be his purring blade, maybe a vibroblade of some form. I actually think I know what it is, but let's not ruin the fun. I may be able to identify it indirectly later. He has a glow sphere, which is a light source of types. Some icy vapor, which is a mutation-based equipment. You can't unequip your mutations. For example, I have a stinger that takes up my back slot. We'll go over that in a second. And he's wearing leather boots, which I find interesting. He has one pair, considering he has 4 legs. Like me! And this is Elder Iridad, a hunched-back ancient, wrapped in a black robe. His smile is warm. Protruding from his back is a stalk, hidden under a veil. The stalk forks into 2 hands with eyes in their palms, and immediately you know why the men follow Iridad. Because he has eyes in the back of his head? Literally? That's actually interesting, I never read that. He's loved by the villagers of Joppa. Because he is one. He's hated by robots for ruining the festival of Ut Yara Ux. So, the general faction of robots, a set of mindless automatons, hate him for ruining celebrations. He's disliked by the villagers of Sharbapur for insulting their homes. Maybe they have ugly homes. And he's admired by crabs for reprogramming their least favorite robot. Possibly at the festival of Utyara Ux. He has on some black robes and some painted sandals. Also, hello, Warden.
Ain't they wishing the heart keep pumping? Move along if they do.
Let's trade. He'll sell me the glow sphere. That's actually not terrible, but glow sphere is something that takes up a hand slot. I will be... Farmer's Guild is whatever, so we're going to do a water ritual. Your thirst is mine, my water is yours. We will spend 1 dram of water and begin the water ritual. Your reputation with the Fellowship of Wardens increases by 100, Joppa by 100, though the Farmer's Guild decreases by 50 because they don't like him. And how dare I share water with him? The water ritual is a sacred, and it's not something you're supposed to make use of lightly per se. We'll be water ritualing a lot of people. But reputation is powerful. And Orag not only is someone I would normally water ritual on the start of at the start of a round anyway, for a reason I'll show you in a second. But he is guaranteed to be liked by Joppa. So that's a big positive swing for universal reputation. And I don't know who the Farmers Guild is. I think if it gets too low, if I was to stumble into a random farm in the world, they would start to hate me. But minus 50 isn't the end of the world. Oh, live and drink, friend. Yeah, reputation with the Wardens is negative 50. They don't like strangers. And he has another 100 influence of reputation he could give me if I had a way to get it. You primarily get reputation with performing the water ritual and sharing secrets. Or you can spend reputation by having secrets shared with you in turn that you can go give to other people. You can request friendship with someone, which will make him a follower regardless of my anything. But right now, just live and drink, friend. Just know that I appreciate what you do. And Elder Iridad,
live and drink, wayfarer. Welcome to the oasis of Joppa. Here you will find shade and victual, along with other provisions to help you better scour the rust caves for treasure. Above all else, you may drink of our fresh water and quench your thirst, though we have no fresh water lying around. Wahaha. What can you tell me about Joppa? Joppa is an oasis hamlet nestled between the eastern reaches of the Great Salt Plains and the jungles of Cud. We are a community of water vine farmers. These groves lie along some of the few tracts of land tame enough to grow water vine.
Excuse me, and what can you tell me about Cud? Cud is a strange and terrifying mesa to the northeast. Her tented rivers breathe life in all its motley forms. Her poisoned jungles shelter priceless relics of a forgotten past. That is just the half of it. For Cud's most precious treasures and her most hideous children lie within the innumerable chrome caverns beneath the scarlet loam. To ply those silver hollows, a spry adventurer's dream. The years have wizened me beyond such foolish ambitions, but you may not be deterred, so... No, my thanks, Elder. Live and drink. In fact, your thirst is mine, my water is yours. You share your water with Elder Iridad. Begin the water ritual. Joppa likes me more. Robots hate me more, but robots are gonna hate me anyway. The random village dislikes me more. I can deal with a random village disliking me. I may never meet them. But crabs like me more. I can deal with crabs liking me. We'll be seeing lots of crabs. I could ask him for a secret, because that does your reputation with Joppa starts at a negative 140. Between the two of them, you get up to positive 60, which is, it's okay. But you notice one of the options I have here, I can have him teach me the recipe for apple mops, or mats, which is an okay dish, but I can't cook worth crap anyway, I don't care. And I'll be able to make my own apple mats recipe that'll be better when that comes to matter. But I can also ask him to teach me harvestry, a skill for 75 reputation. So let's actually go look at our skills. Because, oh boy, skills. This is what your skill points are based on. If I go over here, hey look, it's the stat page again. So, harvestry is a skill in cooking and gathering, which you can harvest fresh ingredients and other usable parts from plants and other wild stuff. That's kind of useful. It means I can just go out and find food. I don't have to buy it or eat corpses. And it lets me skip grabbing, cooking, and gathering to grab it. Now, it costs 50% premium in reputation, but that's 50 SP I don't have to spend for something that should be a basic slice of life skill. That's why one of the main reasons starting with Joppa is so recommended. And we'll say, have you tidings from Eric? Actually I have water. So, hey, Joppa likes me more. Big surprise. Random village dislikes me. Oh no, winged mammals dislike me, and that I could do without. There's a number of winged mammals in the game, various bats and the like. We don't. Well, I just realized I didn't update my game. What am I streaming and where do I update it? So music's gonna pause for a minute while I take care of that. Caves of God is. Whoop. There we go. Haha. Maybe that'll bring people in a little bit. And I'm gonna have Mehmet teach me harvestry. Joppa decreases, blah blah blah. I'll pick up mats. It's cheap and I don't care about getting a secret from Joppa. And we'll let the 35 sit there. So there's a thing here. You notice there's a box in there. I am going to steal from Joppa. Now, how do you steal from Joppa? Well, there we go. Here, quick, before he does something silly. Well, you close the door, open the box. That is not owned by you. Yeah, I want to open it. Inside, we find some arrows, a defoliant grenade, which is a grenade filled with anti-plant gas. So I can throw it at something planty, and it makes the planty thing go away. And a water skin. I'll skip. Actually, no, I might be able to do something with the plastic tree. We'll see, but it's kind of heavy. Freaking cat. Oh, hold on. There's something very important we can do with the cat, though. This is Tesiphus. 1-star Ribbon Knight, a gray cat crossed the marshy loam and wandered into Joppa. The water-pine farmers, wakened by the joyful cries of a small girl, gathered around to revel at the favorable omen and extol the generosity of the beetle moon. Since then, Tesiphus has spent his days curling under the shade of brinestalk huts and sauntering over dirt path. So long as he's approached with care, he welcomes the hands of friends and strangers alike. He is phosphorescent. Is everything neutral? Pet the kitty! The kitty meows, and I'm glowing now. That's nice. Speaking of glowing, I have a torch. I don't need a torch. I also have a stinger on my back. I cannot remove my stinger. I cannot take off my bee stinger, guys. Imagine that. But I have a chitinous segmented tail tapering into a curved barb, slick with venom, because it's supposed to be a scorpion stinger or a bee. I'm going to be playing this like we're a bee. I also have a freeze grenade equipped, which I'm going to remove, and those moccasins do literally nothing for me. Because I'm a merchant, I start with a bunch of random stuff, and I woed at my painted stuff. You know, painted is really nice. Bark armor's kind of neat. Cloth, moment too big. Um, so we start with a little bit of everything. I think bark armor. Oh no, it just weighs 10 pounds. It's just kind of heavy. Armor made from thick overlapping slabs of rock hard bark, sewn to a coarse, itchy plant fiber armor. It smells pretty alright though. But we have some painted furs, which tell us a scene from the life of the ancient Sultan Uyadates III. At twilight, under an uncanny and viridian sky, the people of Tulip Dune saw an image on the horizon that looked like a bad omen bathed in viridian. It was Uyadates III, and after he came and left Tulip Dune, the people built a monument to him and thenceforth called him Omen in Viridium. This gives us a... Wearing this would give us a little reputation boost with the Omen in Viridian Church. But nobody likes them. And we have a painted woven tunic. Uyadates III again. No, this is Uyadates II, his predecessor. In 162, Uyadates won a decisive victory against the combined forces of Shenna Castle at the bloody Battle of Tagalale Tangle. As a result of the battle, Tagalale Tangle was so rife with books and corroded data disks that it was renamed the Shrewd Havoc. And his followers, his modern-day followers, are the kinfolk of the Philosophical Spectre, which is probably a title of his that we will learn. A title we'll learn how he acquired later. Our shoes start with some jerky. Set of bronze equipment. That's... We started with a Joppa recoiler, which is unusual. And by the way, our previous life as a merchant, we have a lot of water. Also, the cat left this house. So, there's a weird artifact here that weighs 5 pounds. That's actually interesting. Which, by the way, it's a little hard for me to see, and it took me forever to notice this. If we come over here, it's 5 pounds. It weighs 5 pounds. It's total weight, yeah. Makes sense. So we can examine it. And it is a flaming iron battle axe. Though it lacks a cell. Okay, we're equipping that. That's nice. We have a fire axe. Aha! We'll put the fire axe in our main hand, and this in our offhand, and we'll put the bronze longsword in our offhand. Longswords generally deal more damage than any other weapon type, but they have no real gimmick. In fact, I forget what longswords do when they crit. Oh, they deal more damage. But there's no cell in this. So, a wooden shaft with a leather handhold topped with a wickedly curved metal blade. It gets +2 bonuses from my strength. It's an axe, so it cleaves armors when it crits. And when powered, this weapon deals an additional 2 heat damage on hit. I don't have a way of generating power. I have... oh, that's just it. I just don't have a way of generating power. Bring it back up. That set of information. I don't have a power cell. I don't have a battery. We'll be sticking battery in things to give them power. But we have one more box in here, which, yes, I want to open. Has some cloth overalls, so it should sell okay, and a bent metal sheet. That could be better. I feel like I didn't... Okay, I didn't get everything. So by closing the door, the people with no one in the room, the people of Joppa don't know you're there. We're gonna head over here to say hello to Argive. Tensile strength of Revlon, but look. Hold on, let me try. Tensile strength of Revlon. An old man with sand and soot in his beard, innumerable baubles and curios clutter his workshop, shaded from the sun's here by a sheet of metal pitched upon the roof of his hut. One of Argave's bushy eyebrows is perpetually cocked, though whether that's owed to an insatiable curiosity or a forehead mutation is unknown. He has a pocketed vest and goggles. I was like, tensile strength of Revlon, but lacking in dino elasticity, retro-threading the impact, probably. Oh, I didn't notice you there. That's because I was ignoring you. Not even tracing yellow synthetic linseed solvent. Unexpected deviation from clank constant. That's interesting.
Must you disturb me? What are you, some sort of treasure hunter? At the very least, make yourself useful and bring me a knick-knack from one of the caves that may reward you. Where can I find such a cave? There are caves everywhere, you dolt. This is Cud. Try the Westwells, just east of here. I will return with your knick-knack. You have received a new quest. Let's fetch our guy of a knick-knack. I have finished the quest. The step, find a knick-knack of the quest. Fetch our guy of a knick-knack. And that's because you're standing in my light. What do you want? I have a knick-knack. The gas grenades count as knickknacks, of which I'm going to say the poison gas is the one I want the least to do with. And I have finished the step, return to Argive with the quest, let's fetch Argive a knickknack. And received 75 experience. And I completed the quest. It appears you may be useful after all. Go fetch me another one. Okay. What do you want? I want to give you a defoliant grenade. Finish the step, return to Argive, we'll fetch Argive another knickknack, and this time we got 150 XP. And I gained a level! If you start with if your starting class gives you 2 relics at the start of the game, you can hit level 2 without even leaving Joppa. Pretty alright. Gain some hit points, gain some skill points, and a mutation point. Oh, good. Quite impressive, treasure hunter. Maybe you're fit to poke around my workshop here. I've been wanting another apprentice, so... unfortunate what happened to Scrav. What with the disembowelment and all. Take a seat there, okay? Now, let me explain. I'm on the cusp of a grand discovery, and when I'm done assembling this conduit, you'll be able to speak to anyone from here to the Caiaphas. First, though, I'm gonna need some copper wire, as much as you can find. At least 200 feet. You should be able to scavenge enough not from the rust wells you've totally been to, right? Yep, sure. Weird wire conduit? Eureka! By the way, when he says boop around his shop, he gives us access to his boxes. Which includes an iron longsword, which is pretty nice. And another freeze grenade. Freeze grenades are actually pretty useful, though the basic one isn't the most useful. And a bow, so I have a ranged weapon. Thanks, Argive. Argive is also a merchant. He sells data discs. What the heck is a data disc? Tab for other things, let's look at it. Crystalline containing blueprints. This one, the spiral borer. Or data discs are how you learn recipes for building tinkerables, but I don't have any skill in tinkering. But I can do things like learn how to add a modifier to items, create my own freeze grenade, create a resonance grenade. 2d100 plus 20 damage to inorganic matter, or 2d10 plus 20 damage to... Because disintegration degrees can make things give a serene visage. He has 2 things that could teach you how to create a freaking combat shotgun. Let's see, what's his most expensive blueprint here? He's got 3 of these 55 tier ones, which I think might all be... Oh, the ontological anchor. I could get these now. Nuclear cells. That's a pretty good one, actually. And a high-powered magnet. I wonder what you could do with a high-powered magnet in this game. So I'm going to do a quick look through. Spiral borer, two-face. Mods are tempting. Laser pistol isn't bad. Freeze grenade. Hologram bracelet. You think this is the real drill? It is. A high explosive Mark III, in case you just need a really big bomb. I looked at Rezo 1. Rezo 3, in case you just really need to delete a robot from existence, because that's what that does, it just deletes things from existence. But all this is pretty expensive, and... Two-Faced is actually pretty good. We'll go into why in a minute, but I want Two-Faced, actually. But before I sell anything... Let's go through my armor.
Studded leather is my best. Don't have anything for my head, nothing for my face. I have a buckler for my arm, but I have no skill in shields, so equipping a buckler does nothing. Nothing on my hands, and the only stuff I have for my feet. Feetsies, I'll keep the freeze grenade again in case of emergencies. The only thing I have for my feetsies, my feets, is the leather moccasins, which I'm not kidding about the fact that, oh, that's right, I have to do it here. They literally do nothing. They just exist. So let's trade. So you can have all of this, and all of this, and these, and that. I'm gonna hold on to the copper nugget. Okay, the plaster tree isn't worth anything. I thought it might be worth something. And which one of these is the two-faced disc? Oh, that's laser pistol. Is this two-faced? Yeah, two-faced is a pretty good item mod. I'll have to pony up an extra 20 drams of fresh water. We use water as money in this, because the world is covered in salt. Literally, the entire world is covered in salt. If you ever pour a liquid on the ground, it will instantaneously become salty. The glow dims until it's extinguished. That was from petting my cat. Petting the cat makes you glow, which is kind of nice. And we're gonna go say hi over here. This is Tam, the thing the tutorial-ish thing wanted to tell me about. Welcome! And he's a, what kind of creature are you? I'm a dromad human, a soul strider. Well, right now I desire nothing. Legendary. Stoic, long-necked man camel. This trader belongs to the Grace of Mercantile Desert Rovers, who men call dromad. They're camel people who wander the desert making trade. Because camels. Desert. Trade. Yeah. Well, let's trade. He has strange tubes that are worth 777 drams of water. That might be a free... So, strange tubes. So when you don't know what an artifact is properly, it gets, you know, strange tubes, weird artifact. I'm surprised there's not a small cube here, say. And that means the... Ooh, honey, I love it. But I'm poor. I'm not actually poor. Yeah, and that means you don't know what it is, but you can get a hint through the name. So strange tubes. The worst strange tubes item is a metal folding chair. This could be a rocket launcher, grenade launcher, it could be an defoliant sprayer. It could be anything. It could be a boat. I don't think it can be a boat, but it could be a boat. But I will take these, just so I can identify them pretty much. And let's look at what he's got in the armor section. He's got some steel gauntlets, which I'm going to go ahead and take. It's pretty expensive, and they're pretty heavy. But steel is not the worst tier of armor to start early on, and that put my AV at about 5. AV stands for armor value, so it's a little brief tutorial. And I get some chainmail, which is better than my thing. It weighs 35 pounds, though, and I don't feel like dealing with that. So we'll just buy this raw. But before I wrap that up, I'm going to come down here. Carbide longsword. But I've got a fire sword. I'm good on that department. And I'm also going to cash out his nuggets. Nuggets are worth a flat value across all traders. Period. You will always get the same value for nuggets. They are an absolute value commodity. The reason I'm trading this out is because 10 drams of water, a nugget weighs 1 pound, 10 drams of water weighs 2.5. It's just more efficient, and I don't need to be carrying around 200 drams of water. That's 50 pounds being used on just water. You'll have to pony up 196 grams? Yeah, sure, trade complete. And I now only weigh 131 pounds. Right, yeah. Just making sure. And I didn't have anything for my hands anyway, so these steel gauntlets, though they tank my dodge value to 2, meaning I'm not going to be meaning I'm almost easier to hit than the broadside of a barn, I do at least have 5 armor value, which the base penetration in the game is 4 for melee attacks. So that means things are actually gonna need some penetration to deal reliable damage to me, and that'll be nice. There's also the shrine to Uyadades V, the Emerald in Citrine. It's a scene from his life of deep in Joppa neighborhood. The fifth discovered Charmor Mesh. There he befriended apes and set a jeweled jewel into a newly forged tiara. Good for him. But now I know the location of Joppa, a historic site. And we have a quest to visit it. Neat. Also, Mehmet told us that they found specks of red dirt by one of the pools. A small crack is revealed. That's right here. That will take us to a dungeon that goes straight to Red Rock. We're going to be using that as an exit, not an entrance. And I have hit the auto explore key. My character is going to reveal every tile on the map and grab every grabbable. Effectively, I do that to get the early vine waste for harvest. Yay. There are 2 chests in Joppa you can't loot through by default in terms of using the door trick, and I can't be bothered to use anything more fancy. I'm going to I've been recording this, so I'm going to put a brief break in the recording, and when I come back for YouTube, we're going to start walking east to the Rust Wells, which I say is the easier of the 2 starting goals. We're going to get some wire for Argive, and Argive's going to go send us to actually what's the next main quest, but we also have to figure out what's eating the red vine. So next time, YouTube.